Since 2010, the 7 running backs drafted inside the top 10 averaged 292 touches for 1,503 yards and 11.1 touchdowns as rookies. The bottom points per game total was 14.3. That was Christian McCaffrey in his rookie season. That if Ashton Genty does that in the 2025 season, that puts him at RB14 for his floor. Are you listening to me? That's his floor. Welcome to Unhinged. I am bigz. I have Curdy here. Curdy is one of the newest guys, one of the newest additions, one of the newest content type people who has joined us right here at the Undroppables. And he's doing a little work. He's getting his feet wet, dipping his toes in. We just recorded a show the other day where he took questions from our Patreons over on the Undroppables. And if you're a patron already, you are familiar with Curdy because he is very active in the Discord. If you're not a patron, get over to the Undroppables. Get over to the Undroppables Patreon page and subscribe, and you will have access to the brain of this guy, Curdy. And he gathered some mailbag questions, and we recorded a little video addressing those, and it was a fun time. Welcome to the show, Curdy. How the hell are you? And let everybody know where to find you, message you, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, bigz. Excited to get a little unhinged. And I am on the X machine at OG Curdy. And like Big said, our Discord's free. There are some Patreon levels. So get in there. It's popping all the time, no matter the time of day. And really excited for today's show. Talk these rookies and get into it.
Now, if you're watching right now and you have a wild fucking take, jump in the comments. Let's get these comments going. It's I don't know how many of you watched the show last week, but I got a little unhinged at the end. If you haven't, go back and watch it. Just fast forward to the last 5 minutes because there's a message and it's for you. You need to hear it. All right. Big news today in the world of the NFL. George Pickens of the Pittsburgh Steelers has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys, and we're here to talk about what the implications are for that. It's Overreaction Station time. George Pickens on his way to Pittsburgh. There are people out there, it's the internet, so everything is wild. It's like the Wild West. You've got people going, this sucks for CD, and you got people going, this is great for CD, and oh my god, Pickens is gonna thrive, and oh, look at all the people who have left Pittsburgh and just plummeted. And guess what? Everybody's right. Right? All of them are right. So what do we make of this situation? I am saying a couple things. First of all, I woke up to A, the news, and B, people trying to get my Pickens off me. And also, what does it mean for Calvin Austin? Nobody ever considered that. What does it mean for Jake Ferguson? Did anybody think of Jake Ferguson and his family? So first of all, let's start with Pickens. What do you think is going to happen with Pickens, Curdy?
Well, the Steelers are experts at knowing when to get rid of these wide receivers. However, Pickens is earlier than the others. He's only 24. He was really productive, and I think he's going to complement CD very well. Stick him out at X, let him go wild, let CD operate out of the slot, let him do his thing. Go buy Dak. He's cheap as shit already, and he can go off with this wide receiver tandem because before it was, CD and Amari Cooper, he was lighting it up. He didn't have his Amari Cooper. He had the fill-ins of Jalen Tolbert and poor Brandon Cooks, who was hurt. Jake Ferguson will benefit too. I mean, it's another guy the defense has to game plan around.
I disagree. I think Jake Ferguson is fucked. Real quickly, we got some people in the chat. Undroppables or Unstoppable. Jamie came up with that on his own. Big brain on Jamie. Look at
Hell
that.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate you, Jamie. You know that. My boy Chev, Jackson Dart to Malik Neighbors is the new Montana to Rice.
This could be the program. The program
I like
for
your
you.
Style.
Yes.
I like your style. That is my wild take. Is I have Jackson Dart ranked as my 105 in the first round of rookie drafts, and so that's about as high as I'll get him. Travis says, "Settle down, Chev." And Chev also, George Pickens could be anything. He could even be a wide receiver too. I think. Are you saying from wide receiver 1? All right.
Ooh.
So in speaking directly about Pickens, Tej Seth has some data out there. From 2021 to 2023, Dak Prescott had a 0.25 expected accuracy when throwing outside the middle of the field. Last year, that dropped to 0.11 EPA per pass. George Pickens had 94.4% of his targets come outside the middle of the field last year. He had a 0.34 EPA per target on outside. It says MOF, which means middle of the field, but I'm going to say motherfucking. He had a 0.34 EPA per target on outside motherfucking passes, which ranked 16th out of 74 qualifying pass catchers. Dallas getting their outside motherfucker passing game back and allowing CD to work inside from the slot could be huge. Okay, I agree. Anybody who follows reception perception has heard the phrase sacrificial X. I don't think this helps or hurts George Pickens at all. If anything, it might help his. No. My take is this: it doesn't help or hurt George Pickens. George Pickens is what we know him to be, and he's not going to a situation. Look how bad his attitude was last year when he was the man. Now he's got to share a wide receiver room with CeeDee Lamb, who is the fucking man. You think he's going to see all the targets that CD is getting and enjoy it? No, there are not a whole lot of possibilities for a place where Pickens could go and become the George Pickens that we've always hoped that he could be. I don't think this helps him at all. That's my thing. All right. Added passing volume is going to help Pickens, in my opinion. DK cannibalized. DK would have cannibalized him. Fixed it for you, Travis. And CD doesn't. They'll want to run, but they won't be able to. That's yeah. So Jadam Blue and the Mafia. All right. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, I think George Pickens is exactly who we think he is. He has the talent and ability to be a top 36 wide receiver. He has a ceiling of about wide receiver 15 and a floor of about wide receiver 45. So there are a lot of range of outcomes for George Pickens, as it will ever be. And it doesn't matter what team he does that on. He's just not equipped to be a wide receiver 1, period. And that's my overreaction. And Jamie, with the trivia, George Pickens is the great nephew of legend Bo Jackson, Raiders legend. And that was fun, Jamie. Good one. The ghost of Miles Sanders. What's the context of that?
Dallas Cowboys backfield. Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams are also there.
I forgot that Miles Sanders was there. My head is so far up the rookie draft's ass right now that those are the only running backs that I've been thinking of. And Chev is bricked up. All right, we've got some fantasy impact, and we're going to go. I'll save that for the hot takes. All right, and you were right. I also mean Kansas City Royals legend and Memphis Chicks legend and Auburn Tigers legend, but not Tampa Bay Buccaneers legend. Fuck you, Tampa Bay. All right. Cam Newton is also good friends with George Pickens, attended his high school graduation. Well, isn't that wholesome?
Jamie's knowing the whole family tree over here.
Jamie's got the nuggets.
Man.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb now. This absolutely helps CeeDee Lamb. So as high as you had CeeDee Lamb right now, move him up because you are now too low on CeeDee Lamb. what we know of NFL offenses is when there is somebody to distract the defense from an elite type wide receiver, that elite type wide receiver is just going to be better. So if George Pickens is taking the top off and CeeDee Lamb has room to cook underneath, then boom, even more for CeeDee Lamb, who is a top 3, top 4 wide receiver already, and he's just gonna benefit more from this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb to the moon. I mean, 70, 80 targets, just gonna eat.
180 targets. You heard it here first on Unhinged. Curdy calling for 180 targets for CeeDee Lamb. That's fucking crazy.
It's happening.
That's crazy.
They're not gonna be able to run the football. Pickens will get his 4 targets a game and go pout, and then CeeDee's just gonna go bonkers.
I want my 180 targets. That's not going to happen. All right. Let's look at some of the stuff from Twitter. The fallout in Pittsburgh is real. Pro Football Talk. That's fucking Mike Florio. That's not the good Mike Florio. There's 2 different Mike Florios. There's Mike Florio from the fantasy space, who is an awesome human being and is very, very sharp. And then there's Clickbait Maestro, Michael Florio from PFT, Pro Football Talk on NBC, which I don't know if any of you use your Google News feed. I don't know why that was so hard to speak. But I'll be scrolling through my Google News feed when I'm bored at work, and suddenly I'll see like a headline and be like, well, that looks kind of interesting. And I'll click on it, and it's fucking Pro Football Today, Michael Florio. And I'm like, God, no, he got me again. So yesterday I blocked all of my, do not give me stuff in my newsfeed from NBC Sports anymore. Anyway, he says he believes the Steelers will bring in Allen Lazard to replace George Pickens. Quote, he's in play, said Florio.
Well, Aaron Rodgers was playing catch with DK Metcalf and not George Pickens before the NFL draft. Yes, yeah, so he was doing a throwing session with Metcalf, pulling his normal Rodgers diva stuff, and maybe Pickens didn't want to play and then play catch. So Rodgers like, get rid of this guy, and I'll come sign with the Steelers.
I can't even keep up with this. Hang on, we'll put that on hold for a second. Jamie says, I watched a George Pickens documentary on YouTube. LOL. By God. Oh crap! I thought they were the same person. Good to know. I don't know what that means.
The Mike Florios.
George. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they're not. There's one goes by Mike, one goes by Michael, and I get them confused. But the one who does fantasy stuff, that's the good one. The one that's on NBC is a clickbait champion. All right. Chev says George Pickens is the 99 overall version of Michael Gallup. That's a Madden reference, you guys. They should add Keenan Allen. I think so too. I think that would be huge. Allen Lazard sucks. So bad. You know what? We agree differently. I beg to disagree. Allen Lazard was a buy last year at some point when he was getting touchdown targets from Aaron Rodgers. Those guys like each other, and Aaron Rodgers is going to make sure that Allen Lazard scores some fantasy points for you. I don't know when the window is. I don't know when the window to buy it is. And obviously you shouldn't roster him as anything better than like your 6th wide receiver on your roster. But there will be some matchups. There will be some times where, hey, look, Allen Lazard is cooking, and you can take that to the bank. I would say move Allen Lazard up your best ball rankings.
So Allen Lazard's going to usurp Roman Wilson's season? Is that what you're telling me?
I've never had any faith whatsoever in Roman Wilson. So all of the people who right now are like, oh, my Roman Wilson ship is coming in. I don't think Roman Wilson and George Pickens were anywhere close to each other. So, whatever. Roman Wilson's going to be the next Ladd McConkey. Sure. Okay, whatever. All right. So Lazard is only making $2.5 million. He could be acquired for peanuts. $2.5 million in peanuts. That's a lot of peanuts. $2.5 million in dollars. In the NFL, that's not quite as much. All right. Also from Florio, quote, the 49ers would love to unload Brandon Ayuk's contract on the Steelers. Really? What kind of galaxy braining were you doing to come up with that? Of course they fucking would. They've been trying to. And I think this opens the door. So maybe the Steelers aren't done cooking. And then finally, a source told him that Aaron Rodgers is waiting to sign with the Steelers until after the NFL schedule release, so the league doesn't load up on early Steelers primetime games is, quote, right on the money. Wait. Waiting for after the schedule release so the league doesn't load up on early Steelers primetime games? Okay, let's parse this out for a second. First of all, people who are like, the end is coming. This is the day of the apocalypse. The world is going to end on this day, blah, blah, blah. And then it doesn't. This reeks of that. Because if I'm not mistaken, Florio is one of the people who were like, Aaron Rodgers is going to sign after the NFL draft. Okay. Now it's after the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers is going to sign after the schedule is released. Great. Way to move the goalposts, you bitch. So
he'll go in his dark hole again and then come out after the NFL schedule release. That's probably what he wants to do.
Have I not? What are you talking about?
That's big news.
I watched every Land Larison video. Oh, no. You know why? Because it's on Facebook, and I don't use Facebook. Because Facebook is Meta, and Meta sucks. Do you know what Meta did? They disabled the moderators against racist and anti-LGBTQ plus content. So fuck them. I'm never going on Instagram again. I'm never going on Facebook again. Having trans people in my family, anybody who is against that can go to fucking hell.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, if you can source that outside of Facebook, then but I have watched every single thing that I've been able to scour off the webs about Land Larison. Okay. That was it for that one. What was next, you guys? Come on, tell me what was next on my agenda. Oh, let's go. Oh no, that's for hot takes. Okay, let's go back to. Let's go to hot takes. It's time for hot takes. Hot take. Patrick Mahomes is done. Over the last 2 seasons, Patrick Mahomes has struggled as a downfield passer. That won't change in 2025. He had the 5th lowest CPOE and the 8th highest off-target rate. 8th highest off-target rate. He's not throwing the ball very well, folks. 9th lowest CPOE and 6th highest off-target rate before that. That's according to... So those stats were according to Derek Brown, a.k.a. D-Bro, friend of the Undroppables. Former guest on the Dynasty Pulse, and but I changed it because Derek said I don't know if that changes in 2025. I changed it to that won't change in 2025. Patrick Mahomes is not a great quarterback. He's never made anybody on his team better. That's my hot take.
That's very hot.
Give me one. What you
hot
got?
Stove. Hot take coming in. These rookies are so far gassed up, these dynasty rankings. It is insane. You got these guys already at RB3, RB4, RB5. Travis Hunter's at wide receiver 13 in dynasty. How does that happen?
Right. And we talked about that on the mailbag thing that we recorded yesterday for the patrons. And so if you want to know how we feel about that, go become a patron. Go to Patreon, go to Undroppables Patreon and become a subscriber, and then you can see that video. I was gonna reveal my answer, but now I'm not gonna. All All right, so there's that. I do. Let's talk about Ashton Genty for a second. Okay, so next week I'm going to have a guest on, and here's what went down. There was another channel that was, hey, jump in this rookie draft for content, and so I did, and we did the mock, and then I watched the show following, and this one guy who was their guest on there, who is, I respect him. I follow him. I respect him. I respect his knowledge. I respect his takes, whatever. But I disagreed with just about everything that came out of his mouth, especially when he was talking about Ashton Genty. So next week, I'm bringing him on the show, and he knows that it's going to be an adversarial thing because we don't agree with each other. And I thought that would make for great content. So I reached out to him and I would say, hey, come guest on the program. And I'm kind of excited that he's going to do that. Also on Patreon, you get a discount on merch and publications, plus our overall consensus rookie and dynasty rankings. We got the shirts, we got the hat. You can get a Dynasty Pulse shirt, which I'm not wearing right now. You can get the coolest hats in the space, and also get your unscore. There's no better tool for evaluating wide receivers or for using towards your wide receiver evaluations than the unscore. And don't forget, the unscore is not a rookie wide receiver rankings. That's not what it's designed for. It's designed to color some of the information that you use in determining where you rank your wide receivers. Like, just go get it. And all right. So the reason I brought up the guest next week is to kind of tease you so that you watch next week. So go ahead and hit the bell below. Make sure that you like and you subscribe to the Undroppables and on YouTube, as well as Patreon and Twitter and all that stuff, because you want this. You want this smoke. And so, but watch next week because that's fun. But also, I want to talk about Ashton Genty for a second. I led off the show with a little thing, which kind of alludes to what you were talking about with the rankings. I feel like Ashton Genty should definitely be a top 12 target. I know he's going as high as like RB3, RB4, something like that. I don't know if I'm willing to pay that freight. That seems a little bit rich because he's a rookie, but all indications are that he's going to be an absolute smash in Vegas, which as a fan, I'm here for, but I'm not wearing my fan hat. I'm wearing my analyst hat. So somebody was talking about the Raiders offensive line, and somebody else said, well, last year he was running behind a college line, and this year he will be running behind an NFL line. And then that got countered with, yeah, but he's also running up against NFL fronts. All things are true. All those things are true. All those things are true. But here's the thing. When we're looking at some of the efficiency in the Raiders running game, they seemed to be okay when Josh Jacobs was there before Luke Getsy got there. Josh Jacobs finished, I want to say 2022 or 2023 with the most rushing yards among running backs. So that's pretty good. They kind of fell off a cliff when they had the inexplicable idea that Gardner Minshew is a starting quarterback in this league, and all of a sudden they couldn't run the ball. You know why? Because he couldn't throw the ball down the goddamn field. So what do you do if you're the defense? He's not going to beat us deep. Everybody up front, stop the run game. And guess what happened? Everybody got up front and stopped the run game. A little bit later, Luke Getsy was let go. What happened? Norv and Scott Turner came in, tweaked the run game a little bit with the same offensive line ostensibly that we have this year. And Sincere McCormick of undrafted free agent status averaged 5.3 yards per carry, which is about where Zamir White was the year before Luke Getsy got there, 4.5. Okay, so now it's not fucking Sincere McCormick. Luke Getsy's not calling the shots. They've done some upgrading to the offensive line, and it's Ashton motherfucking Genty who led college football in loaded boxes last year and still managed to force a missed tackle on 40% of his runs with 8 people in his face. He's going to be good, you guys. And we'll talk more about that next week. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Is that you're nodding your head in agreement or disagreement?
No, Ashton Genty is going to smash. He's going to have, 350 plus touches between carries and receptions. That team is starved for another playmaker alongside Brock Bowers. And sky's the limit for the kid. I mean, you know the data behind first-round running backs drafted. They almost always hit a RB1 season unless you're Sony Michel or Rashad Penny. So
his ceiling is RB1, his floor is RB14. Smash that button. Ashton Genty is the 101. He'll be the 101 in July. He'll be the 101 in August. He'll be the 101 in September. All through any rookie draft that you have, Ashton Genty should, well, not everyone, because my home league IDP, I'm taking Travis Hunter.
I saw Cam Ward go 101 in one of my FFPC drafts, and I about threw my phone.
Chev, what are you doing in the FFPC?
All
right. Dwayne McFarland, somebody that I highly respect, and he did some projections. His ceiling PPR points for rookie wide receivers. He has Luther Burden at wide receiver 5 with a 14.4 point ceiling. What does that mean? That means when you are in your rookie draft, look at your build. Are you a contender? Are you building? If you're building, you want to rank Luther Burden fairly generously. If you are looking for production, he's not the guy. Wide receiver 4, Emeka Egbuka at 15.1. Similar. So this is the tough thing with landing spots. We love Luther Burden and we love Emeka Egbuka and we know their talent levels, but their spots are not exactly the best. 17.8 points per game as a ceiling for Matthew Golden, 18.4 for Travis Hunter, and 18.6 for Tet McMillan. So that means if you prefer Travis Hunter to Tet McMillan, you're really only kind of sacrificing 0.2. So like really, what is that?
A yard, 2 yards?
20 points over the course of the season. So if you feel like you like Hunter better, go for it. Matthew Golden, that's a very, very generous ceiling, 17.8 points per game from a rookie wide receiver in the Packers wide receiver room. Led in targets last year by Dontavian Wicks, and only a couple behind him, Jaden Reed, who was like on the field for 60% of the snaps. Like that, I don't want Packers wide receivers. I'm tired of talking about symmetry. Christian Watson might not even play this year. Romeo Doubs never became anything. Jaden Reed has just been a disappointment to me personally, to the point where I've offloaded him in just about every opportunity that I've gotten. And I wasn't high on Matthew Golden to begin with. So missing from this list are Jalen Knoll, Jaden Higgins. So obviously from these notes, Isaac Tesla is not on here. Jordan Watkins is not on here. Not that anybody really cares about Jordan Watkins anyway. But if Brandon Ayuk leaves San Francisco, Jordan Watkins could become a thing. But essentially what I'm reading from this, I shouldn't say what he's saying. What I'm reading from this is that there will be no other rookie wide receivers who will achieve 14.4 points per game in fantasy in 2025.
I don't know about Kyle Williams. He's in a pretty wide open spot with the Patriots. Very high.
Okay. So in our Undroppables Omega League, we have the good fortune of owning, Greinberg and I co- co-run the team. We have the good fortune of owning Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. So I've been leaving voicemail messages in the Patriots front office that those are your two lead wide receivers, and they both need 120 plus targets. However you determine to distribute them, that's fine, as long as they both get those. So I'm saying that Javon Baker and Jalen Polk are smashes this year, and Kyle Williams, if we had been able to draft him, if somebody had traded when I wanted to get him and then not taken him where I wanted Travis, then I would have, when I leave my voicemails at the Patriots front office, then I would have he would have been the guy, but it's not going to happen. All right. We got a question from Jamie. Would you rather have Wicks or Elijah Moore? Well, obviously I'd rather have Wicks.
He led the team in targets last year, right?
Elijah Moore is a wing and a prayer. However, I will say this, because I wrote this up for Player Profiler last year. If you look at his career arc, it is eerily similar to Tyler Lockett. They both took 4 or 5 years to break out, but Elijah Moore didn't break out yet. So if he's on the Tyler Lockett path, then this is the year. But I said that last year. So
another wide open receiver room in Buffalo.
Yeah. But these are all hunches that we have, but how often do those hunches like really play out when we're trying to convince ourselves to be in love with a situation or a player or whatever? We tend to kind of develop take lock on it without being kind of malleable to new information or to the truth. And the truth is that Elijah Moore has never done anything outside of his rookie season. And we've heard that story before many, many, many times. Oh, big smash, big breakout. Then never did it again. Who's the example I'm thinking of? Former Dallas guy, went to the Raiders. Why can't I think of his name off the top of my head when I could 6 months ago? Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup did it. He had 1,000-yard season, and then he got hurt, and he never did it again. But we have seen lots of wide receivers who never really got hurt, and still they had 1 year that was good, and then never really put it together. Okay. More hot takes. Where are my hot? Oh yeah. What if I Carter Jackson, Zach and Dar? Okay. Yeah. I'm done with hot takes. Fuck you, hot takes. Okay. Predictions that aren't likely to happen. CeeDee Lamb is wide receiver 1 in 2025.
Wide receiver 1?
Wide receiver 1.
In 2020, that's next year.
That's this year.
This year. Wrong year.
This season. This upcoming season, CeeDee Lamb will finish as wide receiver 1. How? I don't know. It's a prediction that's not likely to happen.
I love it.
What's your prediction that is not likely to happen?
The prediction that's not going to happen is Will Howard's going to win the starting job as the Steelers quarterback and go absolutely nuclear with DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth, and they will not sign Allen Lazard or Aaron Rodgers, and Roman Wilson will be relevant. And Will Howard, what? Mid QB2?
That's a lot of predictions.
I like it.
That's a lot of predictions. Yeah, I disagree with some of those, but that's not what we're not here to insert inappropriate euphemism here. We're not here to do that. So we can disagree. We don't have to, be on the same page for everything. All right. I'm going to reiterate a prediction that is not likely to happen from the debut episode of this show. I'm going to double down on this one because I have a landing spot. And because this affects my first overall pick at the 101 in the Andrew Cooper Fantasy Cares Eliminator, which is an 18-team best ball league I had the one with a third round reversal. So I get pick 1, pick 36, and then pick 54. So fuck me, right?
Yeah.
So I had to like look at the scoring system and just like throw my dart at Jalen Hurts. God damn it. So not only am I doubling down on Kyle McCord will finish as the top scoring rookie quarterback in 2025, but now he's going to do it as the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning quarterback. Boom! Kyle
That's
McCord,
wild.
baby.
Kyle McCord double down.
It's the Kyle McCord double down, dude.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, and only you won't hear that anywhere else. All right, George Pickens doesn't reach wide receiver 24.
I don't know if he reaches wide receiver 36.
He can. There's enough volume to go around, and he's going to have he was an ADOT merchant in his rookie season. I think that's probably what the Cowboys are looking to do. I mean, let's face it. Again, he doesn't run middle of the field, so it's going to be nines, boundary stuff. And as long as he's winning those contested catches, he's averaging, I think, 1.9 yards of separation. Which isn't great, but it creates contested catches. But he can do that. But I don't see him inside the top 24, which is sad because I want him to be wide receiver 15. I think that's where his true talent is, but he's just never been in that situation.
Well, yeah, you had Kenny Pickett throwing in the ball. Who else in Pittsburgh? You're not going to get there.
Jamie thinks you're a genius because Roman Wilson will be relevant.
Jamie's also a genius.
Yeah, look, you guys are insert inappropriate euphemism here in each other.
Oh.
All right. Singulara DD. I can't wait to see the epic crash outs regarding Pickens on national television. Dude is absolutely insane, and I'm here for it. Yeah. Pickens is like the best wide receiver 2 we've had in a lot of years, and we're not going to be able to run the ball for shit. If he can keep the drama under control, he should be a solid value pick. And then this is a really more of a good thing for CD. He really needed someone at least decent to draw coverage away from him. Also to draw the narrative away from him. That's a media thing. All right. So we've got quarterback and wide receiver. Oh yeah. Calvin Austin is going to finish inside the top 36.
Calvin Austin to the moon.
Another bold prediction. Not likely to happen. What do you think of that, Chev? Chev, are you still there? Chev, Calvin Austin inside the top 36. Calvin Austin will be a wide receiver 3 or better in fantasy.
He's too busy getting all bricked up about it.
Well, if he wasn't bricked up before, he'll be bricked up now. All right. Now we go. Oh, I got a good one. So we've covered quarterback, covered wide receiver, running backs.
I got a running back one. You
Go
ready?
for it.
Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy and back. Running back 1 overall, 2025.
I'm not a doctor. I don't have a fucking screwdriver or anything. But I do have a little bit of medical knowledge, and I am under the impression that Achilles tendonitis in both feet is not good.
It's overrated when you're Christian McCaffrey. He's going to do it. He's back. They're going to get rid of Ayuk.
That's what they make tape for.
Yeah.
Put that shit up and get out there, you bitch.
He went overseas for stem cell inserts or whatever they call it. I'm not a doctor either, believe it or not. And he'll be fine.
My running back prediction for 2025 that likely won't come true is the top 4 scoring running backs in fantasy football among the rookie class will be number 1, Ashton Genty, number 2, Travion Henderson, number 3, Quinshawn Judkins, and number 4, Taj Brooks.
I love that because I just drafted him everywhere over the weekend. So that's cool.
Taj Brooks is good. Taj Brooks went to the Bengals. The Bengals have never considered Chase Brown a bell cow. Somebody in the Bengals front office in a press conference, I don't know if it was their head coach or their GM or whoever the OC, whoever the fuck it was, said that Taj Brooks is a bowling ball covered in razor blades. You don't get steam like that if you're not the plan. Unless you are Jalen McMillan of the Buccaneers. I've been grabbing Taj Brooks off waivers when he's not drafted. Yes, same. And also another one that I forgot to add for the wide receiver spot, and Travis might like this because he outbid me. Dante Thornton will lead the Raiders in yards receiving.
More than Brock Bowers.
More than Brock Bowers.
Heard it here first.
That doesn't mean he'll have more fantasy points than Brock Bowers.
No.
But he will lead. You know what? Let me amend that. He won't lead the Raiders in yards. He'll lead the Raiders receiving core in touchdowns.
Nice amendment.
How does a bowling ball roll if it's covered in razor blades?
Maybe it spins. Doesn't roll. It just spins.
If they're vertically aligned off the surface, then like this, Jamie. That's how it rolls. All right, and finally, tight end. You have a prediction that likely won't happen?
Prediction likely will not happen for tight end. Oh, this is a good one. Brenton Strange will finish as a top 12 tight end and lead the league in touchdowns for tight ends.
Ooh, that's spicy. I'm going to clip that because I want people who haven't watched the show to see that. And then that's why you should be watching this show. Because that's fucking crazy, bro.
That ain't going to happen.
I saw something about the number of, what was it? This is in regards to Travion Henderson and usage rates out of the New England backfield. And I thought that I clipped it, but I didn't. Anyway, Travion Henderson is gonna be a smash. That's why in my top 5 or top 4 RBs that I said he's gonna outscore Omari and Hampton. All right. My tight end prediction that likely won't happen. Elijah Arroyo leads the tight end class in fantasy points. This is all based on coach speak. Seattle seems to love him. We just had Andrew Cooper on our show yesterday over on Player Profiler Plus Now Today Plus. And he still likes Noah Fant and AJ Barner. So there, until we have clarity of the Seattle tight end room, we don't really know what's going to happen. But if you kind of like picture what Sam Darnold did with a healthy TJ Hawkinson, apparently we haven't been able to see Elijah Arroyo's athleticism on display enough because of his Senior Bowl injury. But he was turning heads the fuck around at the Senior Bowl. And once he's fully recovered, if he's part of the Seattle plan, he's going to be a smash. There's issues with Tyler Warren. I personally think that Anthony Richardson is going to have a huge year. I think this is the year that he finally puts it all together. And and Colston Loveland, I think, is in a bad spot. But a lot of people don't think that Tyler Warren is going to have the year that he will. So then what we're doing is we're picking apart the next 4 tight ends. Mason Taylor's in a great situation. But I think Elijah Arroyo is gonna bust out in Seattle. Yeah?
I like it. I got some Arroyo over the weekend.
All right. You guys, are you playing Fast Draft?
Rookie. It's all about rookie talk in fantasy football right now. So why not go use all that knowledge to do something other than a mock draft? Chris Jimino won $8,000 with just 2 teams last year, and each draft took 5 minutes. That's pretty good ROI. You can start doing rookie drafts for money today on Fast Draft. The Origins tournament is live. It is the place to go and monetize your knowledge of rookies and use your favorite player profiler host promo code for a $25 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
All right. I have a message. To finish the show. I have a message to you, Reddit. One of the things that I want to do as part of this show is find some of the insane thoughts and arguments and shit that are supposed to be on Reddit. I want to find things that I disagree with and yell about it. And today, while I was doing my research, I had a really hard time. For example, there was a Reddit post that was the biggest winners and losers from the NFL draft. And in the comments, well, I get the first one is Caleb to the moon, and no. So that was good. But Jaden Reed, the Green Bay wide receivers discussion will be interesting this year. Yeah, we already talked about it. I don't know if I have it in me to draft a single Bears pass catcher. Of course, like that. Like I agree with that. I'm not sure Pacheco is as much of a winner here as we think. Brashard Smith is a convert. Excuse me. Whoa, where did that come from? Brashard Smith is a converted wide receiver. Yeah, I love Brashard Smith in Kansas City. If you like Jerick McKinnon, you're gonna love some Brashard Smith. I think Chev just got so bricked up his house fell down. I'd include some combination of Judy, Njoku, and Tillman as winners. Okay. Nick Chubb becomes a Bear. That's what everybody's saying. Tyrone Trace is going to lose a lot of work with Scott. Do better, Reddit. Instead of being mad at the comments, I'm mad that I'm not mad at the comments. Make me mad at the comments.
Unhinged are the comments.
That's all I'm asking. All right. Thank you, Curdy.
Yeah.
Tell everybody again where they can find you.
Absolutely. On the X at OG Curdy and Undroppables Discord. It's free. Get in there and we'll talk ball all the time.
The Discord is free, but you should be a goddamn patron.
More benefits.
So do that. Also, check out the show next week when I have Trey Daubert. That's Daubert, Daubert. You might say Daubert, but I speak a little French, not to brag, and have family in Louisiana, so I say Daubert. Oh, Jamie says, great stuff, dudes.
Thanks, Jamie.
And accept bigz' take on Roman Wilson. Well, there you go. Fuck you. Sorry. Trey Daubert is from Vendetta Sports Media, so go check that out. And he will be on the show next week, and I'm going to argue with him. So make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the bell and all that stuff so you don't miss that show. And for all of you out there in Fantasyland, thanks for watching. And if you didn't watch, okay, I'm going to do this anyway. Bye.